our next presenter, Ahmet, another person I've had the pleasure of working with, absolute the top of his game, what he does. But he's developed something interesting, which I think he wants to share with all of you, and also have some feedback for this. It's quite interesting. There you are.
Thank you, Tim. Hello, everybody. My name is Ahmet. I'm an independent Hyperion consultant. Independent last 8 years, but I've been a Hyperion consultant since 2005. And I work in many different roles, I would say. My latest title is EPM architect, but, it's not always, was not always like that. I work like consultancy capacity, administrator capacity, so even with a business head, so I can understand many of the pain that you may be having right now. So, basically, as a consultant, we are helping business to redefine their business processes, and we are sort of architecting a solution how they can do these processes in a software like EPM. So we just need to address some of the things very clearly, like when you provide a solution all up to like an S-Space, for instance, saying this is not a transactional processing system, that's not a brainer, but sometimes as a consultant, you need to be able to address those kind of things to the client. So, I'm not here to polish any Oracle product, or I'm not gonna say that may be the best route for the company. But if you are in a project where cloud is already selected, that is the way that you have to go and you need to implement something, then I would say this is an option to explore. Again, that may not be the best option that you may need to suggest, but that's still a nice option to me that you need to consider. So, I actually wanted to start with the question in the previous slide where I was asking, is the business rule is the new Maxl? I will try to come. I would like to come to understanding with the thought process together, whether yes, it may be or not. So, one of the challenges when we move from on-prem EPM system to cloud solution is like you have got Maxls or S-commands or similar sort of solution where you are doing many things. So you might be doing some integration with your FTM, you're running data load rules, you may be triggering business rules or doing some cube refreshes, building cubes and stuff like that. So when you think about it, you create a new cloud environment and you cannot use your Maxls. It's not ready. So you need to create something else that would be replacing all these Maxl administrative things. So you got actually two broad options. One of them is EPM Automate. I think you might be familiar. Who used EPM Automate before? Quite a lot, right? So EPM Automate is actually a nice tool, right? So you can do simple commands and run it. It will connect and do many stuff. It's technically running on top of Java based thing and connecting to REST APIs and doing this stuff. One of the challenges that I am having with EPM Automate is, okay, company strategy might be like, okay, we are pushing everything to cloud, and to be able to manage the services on cloud, I need to create an instance on my on-prem and assign a machine associated with it, and administer things running on cloud on-prem. Oh, it's against our company policy. We shouldn't leave any boxes in our data center. So how are we going to address that? So, well, I had that challenge. Okay, so another option, of course, if you are not doing EPM Automate, you can do another custom client. You can write your own scripts and do Java or on top of Java, Groovy, or any other language that can communicate with REST APIs and create your own solution without using EPM Automate, but it is effectively rewriting EPM Automate, isn't it? So that may be a broad option. So to replace this, to address this thing, one of the things that is enabled in cloud PBCS applications, actually, from the slice of Oracle, we understand enterprise subscription enables us to use Groovy, and that Groovy right now can connect to other web services. So you can enable your business rules to connect other web services URL. What it means is, so you can effectively run a business rule that can connect to another cloud service, and you can do whatever you like from the target that you are connecting. I don't know if you notice in Andreas' slides, there was an option to import, actually push pod to pod. So that can be a thing that can be enabled with this connectivity. So that is actually giving us a huge array of possibilities, I would say. So you can consider using pod-to-pod push, which you don't need any client in between. No EPM Automate is required, or you don't need anything running in between. You can resolve the architectural thing from one service to another without any interim, communication client. So, well, it may be too technical. I will not show any coding or things like that in this presentation. But essentially, how it works, like you have to select Groovy script option, right, in the business rule that you are creating. I mentioned it has to be enterprise edition of the cloud subscription. Whatever, we check with Oracle. If it's not enabled, maybe your subscription is not correct, or maybe you didn't buy it on the time frame that it was published, coming pre-ready. So you create a kind of swap message that is the protocol communication. I will share the slides. Don't worry about it. Look. So you create a web services body header. So the communication can be a post request or get request. So these are all available ready in internet. So what kind of communication you need to be interacting with different available services in the REST API you are connecting. Connectivity needs to be there. You can register the destination target. Actually, I even tried to register itself. So you can technically a PBCS application or PBCS application. You can register yourself, and you can do some kind of things like, I want to refresh my database. You can associate it with, business rule, and you can let one user to run business rule. I'm not saying administrator. It can be even user. So it can just run the business rule, and it will just trigger a database refresh.
Are you suggesting that means?
Oh, I'm not suggesting you should do that. don't do that. I mean, it may not be a good idea. I'm just saying that may be an option, a consideration. Well, it was just an example. So those kind of possibilities are available. So I mean, obviously, you are not only limited with cloud connectivity. If you want to connect to weather web service and check how weather is gonna be like, and depending on that you will adjust your reports, you can also do that. But should you do that? That's another question. These are the things that I explored. So you can run business rules from another service. You can push kind of migration tasks, or literally any jobs that can be defined can be triggered. A good thing, of course, you can do like exception control or flow control. You can run things in parallel or check if this finished, then trigger this, wait for these jobs to be completed kind of mechanism, because you are in a kind of scripting language where you can control things pretty well. If it was kind of a space command, you are very limited. You have to think what you can do inside all up dimensionality. But right now, you can just interact with many other things, including connecting to other web services, which can be the cloud subscription. I think that's all I want to say, but I am happy to interact with any possible questions in the room. Please.
What are the hardware requirements for this REST API thing?
What are the hardware requirements for REST API? Because for EPM Automate, you can just install it on your laptop and it will start working. But what are the hardware requirements for REST API configuration?
For REST API configuration, you don't need any hardware. It is on cloud. So it is running effectively from the machine that you are allocated from your subscription. So inside the Groovy rules, you can just create a connection to another cloud service that is not touching your client. It is creating a direct connectivity between cloud services.
So you mean to say the Oracle Cloud, we can use the same for this purpose as well?
Yeah, yes. Oracle supports that.
Okay. And if you need some sort of batch processing of REST API jobs, then still Oracle servers will work, or we'll need to set up or configure our own on-premise servers?
Still works. Why not? I mean, I'm not sure if I understand your requirement completely, but you are sort of saying, I want to do list of tasks, batches,
yeah.
And I want to associate it with one or list of business rules. There's still nothing stopping us to define them in a certain subscription and let it be in a batch job, or you can even wrap them around with a single business rule and run it as a batch.
Can you schedule these?
Yeah, it's like scheduling business rules, right?
Yeah.
As much as you can schedule business rules, you can schedule business rules that you have interacted with other web services as well. So there's no change on that one. Any other question?
You said we can use this to monitor other services as well. But I mean, only bottleneck I see is like you need the planning to be up and running in order to run this rule. You cannot just run some batch plans. You need the planning to be up in order to monitor other services or anything, right? That's the only prerequisite.
Yeah, for the main bugs, the bugs that you are triggering, the business rule should be up and running. If it is down, then you kind of lost the main engine that is triggering the things. That I agree with that point. Yeah, thank you very much. Was there a question, Orada? Hi.
What are some of the business requirements that drive the use of this?
Well, I mean, one of the examples I've seen is in this morning, Oracle said you can do pod to pod, for instance. If you don't want to use EPM Automate anywhere, you can have a business rule that can create a copy of your application. For instance, I would give you an example from DR. If you want to use a business rule that is copying everything overnight to a disaster recovery subscription, that can be a business case that would solve.
So automation of data transfer is that the most common usage of this?
Actually, this is a feature enabled this summer. So, I mean, I did not explore all possible business usage, but it was not available before. So, it is a kind of feature that may allow us to do many things that we haven't explored fully yet. So, I'm just giving you an idea what is enabled here, and if it is going to be the right solution that you are going to be suggesting to the customer, then why not consider it more?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I think the key takeaway here is, I think the key takeaway here is that there's a lot of struggle when you have to convince the IT department of the client that you need a server when you've just gone to cloud. I think what Emma was saying earlier, there's a lot of trouble that you go through just to commission a server. So this takes that away and that need. So yeah, you have it all encompassed in the cloud. Yeah, is that correct? Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Thanks very much, Anna.
Any other question? There's one here.
Hi. Pardon my ignorance about the technical knowledge of these things. So on the diagram that you've described here, I see some hops for SOAP request and other web services. Are these mandatory to do, or could you just invoke the REST API from the ePBCS Groovy rule itself?
It's kind of, I tried to explain the flow, but it is not end-to-end mandatory steps. So when you come to implementation steps, it may be first do this, then do this, then do this kind of thing. So it's not an end-to-end guide.
Perfect.
So
Thank you.
it's just an idea.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Do you know if Oracle will allow us to create a managed server on a WebLogic level in the cloud, apart from the pre-built managed server that comes with the product? Will Oracle allow us to create one standalone managed server where we can write a simple Java program to call REST APIs? Will that be allowed by Oracle, or it's not?
To be honest, I don't know, but it is a possibility that we may need to, go into a conversation with Oracle. I understand where you're coming from. Instead of doing something inside a box that I bought as a subscription, why don't I create a client that can interact this thing? So I mean, that is also a possibility, but you need to assess which one is the right solution that you want to bring to your client. It may be the right solution or it may not be. So that's an alternative.
Okay.
Just, I don't know whether the guy's still here, but just if people want to know more about Groovy, talk to Guy Rogers, he's around here somewhere, and Key-Teach do have an on-demand Groovy scripting course, so spend a bit of time looking at that.
Anyone else? Just asking, is it possible to have do you have a demo or something in the future we can get people to have a look at?
Well, trouble with demo, I need to connect with a client subscription.
Okay, sure.
Other than that, I have no problem sharing.
All right, let's see what we can we can do in that sense. But
Well,
it's-
by all means, happy to help if anyone wants to. Well, that's the problem. I just want to mention,
Okay.
you need to be a partner or a client, obviously. If you're an independent consultant, you cannot even access to Cloud Customer Connect and contribute your valuable comments.
Well, that's a good business option there. Let's see. Okay, so thank you so much for that. It's
Thank you
really-
very much.
If you have any questions regarding this, let me know, and I'll forward it to Ahmet. So yes, should we go to the